after watching the previous game is that Unicorns of Love have trickery in the bot lane. And MF as an immobile carry over Ezreal, despite a lot of people prioritizing MF higher in terms of power level, if you're trying to mess with someone, Ezreal is a hard champion to throw a curveball at. So in that sense, I think it makes a lot of sense to ban the Ezreal and not first pick the MF. It just is, well, what are they actually going to do here? Because that Sion Senna strategy is available. They also comboed with the Lee Sin. They can get a lot of that same draft a second time here.
All right, well, Husha is back on Xin Zhao. Maoan though on Ryze. Definitely a champion that can be very potent, especially if you're able to get out of lane and try and affect the side lanes of the map. Looks like Nomanz is keeping it classic though. There in the mid lane with Orianna already selected. Definitely favoring comfort here in this kind of situation. But UOL also have one more pick to make here for their third overall in the draft, and it is going to be a Senna something. Just Senna what?
Senna, what is the question? It's tough to want to ban out a lot of stuff. If Santos is going for the bruiser ADs, you know, Set is often paired down there. Sion worked. You talked about they were hovering to Wukong. Wukong actually does pair with Senna. Yep. That was kind of one of the initial Senna pairings. So there are a lot of choices. We'll have to see if Santos has more tricks up his sleeve. I'm sure there'll be a Sion ban coming here. And a Draven.
Oh, okay, it actually got locked in.
I thought he was hovering it.
He was, and then they locked it in.
Okay. All right, Draven has been something a lot of people have been hyping up. A lot of people are relatively high on Draven. I don't think they're saying, you know, pick him first pick, all that stuff. But when you want a carry who can actually take resources, snowball the game, someone to play around, Draven is kind of that guy in the meta currently.
And it is now slightly easier to try and get that first cash in, right? That's kind of the whole thing about Draven. You collect your stacks, you're kind of a lane bully. You throw your axes, and then you want to cash in on your gold and keep snowballing the game. You now can execute people with your adoration stacks. So it is slightly easier if your ulti hits them to get a little execute off there. So Draven's job of needing to cash in on all the investment he's put into himself in that laning phase, because if you like spin axes for 10 minutes in the laning phase and don't die, you have so much extra gold you can grab, but Draven has to actually get the kill. He can't get an assist, he has to actually get the kill to get that payout. So we'll see what happens. That is maybe one of the changes that excites Draven players, but Draven's been good for a while. He is so brutal in a 2v2 if he gets ahead.
Right, and I think it's now a very dangerous game of chicken, because we're talking about, oh, these mobile carries like MF might be what they're trying to bait him into. Well, Draven is not particularly mobile either. He is a bigger lane bully, and so you have to have a better execution if you're going to try to 100-0 him and make sure you don't get punished for it. But he is still someone who is punishable with the lack of mobility. So whatever trickery they're planning in the bot lane might still be an option, but it's a lot harder now because Draven's going to be trying to punish you the entire early laning phase with some aggressive trading.
Yeah, Sion and Seraphine, actually the bans there for Beyond Gaming, which I assume are both aimed at Santas there in the bottom side of the map. Amumu and Leona also banned away, so Kino is going to have to settle on Rakan instead. So BYG leave themselves their top lane counter pick by the looks of things. We'll see what Unicorns of Love want to have lined up here.
Yeah, we'll finally get an answer to this Senna question. I am leaning towards something maybe that's a little bit safer than some of the melee ones I was suggesting before. I mean, maybe you still go the Wukong, which has a little bit better all-in threat than the Sion, and they did hover it before, so yeah, locked in. Still flexible technically. You can still see what happens. I wonder if they have enough champions to do a double flex between support and top. You know, if Kino, or excuse me, Liang locks in something that is exploitable. You know, okay, I don't think you're doing Senna Jayce in the bot lane and to take both these away. It'd be a little funny to take Jayce after taking, yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, if the Wukong's going bot lane 100%, it doesn't matter. So they just take something safe on the top side that has a lot of independent power, because you know that this game's going to be all about bot side.
And what's the last pick here for Beyond Gaming? It is going to be a safe one. Tahm Kench.
Tahm Kench
makes an appearance back in the lanes.
Yeah, a pretty common, safe topside. You know, doesn't have a great matchup into Jayce, but you just kind of eat the poke and survive lane
hopefully
phase.
Eat the enemy champion.
Yeah, and then later on, you're there maybe as a Draven protection tool, you know, like more so than diving in yourself. I feel like you could get him out of a Wukong ult potentially. We'll have to see exactly how Liang ends up playing it in the mid to late game, but the bigger part is, what is the mid to late game going to look like? Because the early game is extremely volatile on the bot side.
Which is going to be a lot of fun, if nothing else, but we'll see how it all shakes out here. Again, this is the last game of Worlds 2021 for one of these teams. The winner of this game will go on to play tomorrow in one of the best of fives that potentially could qualify towards the group main stage. You will have to play another one after that, if my memory of the format is correct. If you lose, however, you are done, unfortunately.
This is do or die, make or break for these two teams. And I mean, this is a banger of a matchup to get it too. Just such a volatile bot lane. I bet our observers are going to be glued down to that lane. And who can get down there and influence it?
I think Unicorns of Love definitely feeling pretty comfy in the solo. I mean, the top side feels very comfortable, right? It's, you know, Boss Jayce. It's Nomanz Orianna, which I'm going to assume is his most played champion. I doubt Cassidy is his most played champion, simply because he eats too many bans.
It would be. It would be, if he could get his hands on it.
But, I mean, Orianna is a staple of so many players. It's been a champion Nomanz has dabbled on in the past. Unicorns actually have a lot of fun history with this. I remember Orianna bot lane one year out of them as well.
With Gadget,
but for Nomanz here, this is the champion that he should, and a matchup he should feel extremely comfortable in.
Absolutely. It is his most played champion all time. He is mostly a control mage player.
Right.
I mean, the Kassadin may be a little bit of a wrinkle, you could argue, but he does make his name on control mages often. Did not have a very good Orianna game earlier on in the tournament. So looking for a bit of redemption here. Moan is also on his signature champion. This is his most played Ryze. We saw them a fair amount of bans. I think it was banned 3 out of 4 games against him because he is quite proficient on the champion. And so signature champions in the mid lane to support what will be a crazy bot lane. Top side, maybe they'll try and go up there if Jayce is really overextending, but otherwise I expect Boss to just basically be pushing Liang in over and over and getting a small CS lead and some turret plates.
All right, we'll see what happens, because no super aggressive invades right now. AHaHaCiK is considering maybe just getting some vision more than anything else. Nomanz actually walking up, getting a pretty nice ward there onto the Raptor pit, so that is going to get likely the information where Husha is, and Nomanz is ready to play, meets the wave, instantly starts ordering the melee creeps.
Liang being annoying here. Just getting some vision on where Lee Sin was starting. Both laners started in the lane. You saw the Jayce and the Senna Wukong already in their lane, and so I like that. Liang is not here to contest the wave level 1. He is not here to fight the Jayce, and so he uses his level 1 time intelligently. Instead of sitting in the lane and just watching your minions get autoed, go find the jungler. Go help them know, like, hey, I mean, it's not a surprise you're pathing top to bot to play against the Draven. It's not a shock, but it does help to see him.
Yeah, Husha is spotted by the wards. Nomanz put down, and Nomanz is right off to it here. Level 2 already, getting that poke onto the tower. Maoan will ding too, so it's going to be okay, but I imagine Nomanz is going to be playing extremely aggressive, at least in the early levels. Wukong does eat a knock up there from Santa's, and it is once again the sickle out of Argonavt, so it is going to be Santa's taking that farm early on.
Yep, no surprise. You would not want to pair a just raw support Wukong.
Yeah, true.
He definitely needs the gold to become a bit of a threat in this game. And, you know, Wukong does have a lot of tools to deal with AD carries. The same reason that he's good in Jayce topside is the same reason he's decent bot lane. But the same things that are true in top are true in bot. You really are not a threat until you get your level 6 unlocked. And so that early laning phase is going to be a lot about sustaining, grabbing as much farm as you can despite losing early on, most likely. Argonavt being able to top him off and land some poke back. I don't expect them to try to make the gank unless, you know, they get eyes on this in and they know there's a window there, because I don't think you want to fight a 3v3 right now.
I'm curious, like, you know, if Senna is maybe something that pops up more, maybe just for specific teams, right? Not every team necessarily is prepped for this Senna, play Senna this way right now. But, you know, how deep can they go? Is this how Mumu gets a win mark? Is it farming a Mumu?
Senna? Maybe you got to go that far to help down.
Still sounds miserable for poor Mumu.
I mean, at least you get healed up when you walk up and get autoed.
That's true. Maybe it's all right. We'll have to see. For now, it's Liang giving the thumbs up in top side, accepting the sadness of Jayce, any matchup basically in the early levels, but Liang feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Tahm Kench with the change to his Q, giving some missing health heal back to yourself, makes surviving these lanes a little better if you can land the tongue lashes, but the problem is, look at how many minions are in the way while you're getting poked down trying to CS. So it is still pretty difficult of a matchup, even with a little bit better sustain. And looks like Unicorns Love want to use that topside pressure.
Husha now knows that AHaHaCiK's here. Ooh, a little dive happening. Liang trying to get the Abyssal dive happening, but AHaHaCiK dashes out. Nice little steal of the Krog. So I thought maybe they were lining up a dive, so Husha does cover that as well, pathing back up there, but more than anything, AHaHaCiK is happy to take that little bit of counter jungling.
Yeah, step for step right now for both junglers. Bot to top clears, getting it back up to top side with the pressure, and honestly getting a little bit of a steal on the enemy Krugs, but, you know, not the end of the world either way. I think a lot of this game is going to be, for Unicorns of Love, surviving bot lane while getting pressure top, and then eventually having to transfer some of that pressure down to the bot lane. It is tough because, for the most part, I mean, Beyond has better tools. You know, both the Ryze Realm Warp as well as Tahm Kench just wanting to be more of a team player. And probably more impactful in most TP situations if you can eat someone important, even on your team, then Jayce will just TPing it and dealing damage.
AHaHaCiK finds Husha once again. Right, gonna win the trade very swiftly there, and Husha's actually gonna have to flash out of there. Wow.
That's a big win. I mean, it's not a kill, but denying a lot of the early pressure that might have came from the Xin is really huge. And now it allows AHaHaCiK to get into this top rush, but just covering boss.
Yeah, big wave building. As we know, no jungler to dive because Husha already burnt flash in the middle of the map. But boss might as well go up there if you're in AHaHaCiK. It was basically the path you're planning anyway. Not much else for you to get done. So just fine there, as boss is going to reverse that wave and keep the CS lead he had. But Liang feeling really comfy, getting that push in, having the steel caps now. I have to feel like this matchup is going to get a little bit easier at this stage, but we'll find out. See if boss can maintain or grow this lead, because Jayce is expected to get some sort of CS lead in most of the matchups he plays. It's just like, how big is it? And I think more importantly, like, what do you do with the gold you actually get, right? Because even though Jayce seemingly, in air quotes, wins every lane, I feel like the impact you make, you know, either calling a jungler up or going to a fight is more what matters. And right now, looking kind of tricky. Ooh, good flash from Maoan, but not one he wanted to use necessarily.
Yeah, Jayce coming out on the losing end of these trades. Hasn't backed yet though, so you know, it's a little bit of a lie.
Steel caps has storage plate.
Yeah,
not bad.
Steel caps feels really good for Liang to pick up early on. Glad he could get that off his first purchase. But boss finally makes his way back, grabs the serrated dirt, grabs the tier. He's happy to get back in the lane now, even if the steel caps make it a little bit harder to, you know, really poke out Liang. At least you'll be stacking up your tier during this and keep building a gold lead. Beyond, in the meantime, make that play in the bot side. Even though Maoan lost his flash, Nomanz with no mana really makes it pretty easy to grab that. Plus you have the pressure from that Draven lane in the bot side. So grab that one relatively early, and they can use the Draven pressure, not just for kills. You know, as much as everyone talks about how bloodthirsty Draven is, he gives your team other things.
He does.
Like bot pressure.
Well, AHaHaCiK does get the steal. Husha going to make him pay. Attempts to read it there for Kino, but AHaHaCiK does flash out of there. Nice little maneuver.
Yeah, really nice roam by Kino. He's had a rough tournament.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I've been a little disappointed. A lot of these were those kind of a moo-moo games where he's just getting picked on. But that was a really nicely timed roam to remove the flash from AHaHaCiK, which removes some of the playmaking pressure that's coming up with level 6s in the bot lane pretty soon here. So that is a very nice small win, which is kind of where the game's at right now, is trying to find these small wins.
Alrighty, nice knock up there. Doggo getting in there. Level 6 now as well. Some potential.
It's time to start counting the adoration stacks for the Draven. This is when, you know, we talked about the changes that came in. Draven will execute targets below his adoration stacks. We'll have to be keeping an eye on it. They even changed it so that it shows up in all chat now, too, because it's like, this is now a very important minigame. He's at 164. So you have to be ready for him to be able to kill them. And so, as I understand the ability as well, the execute comes through after the damage. I am pretty sure of that. So it says, basing off reading the tooltip, champions with less than health that is left than the adoration stacks.
Alright, topside 3v1 for Jayce. Not a fight he can win. That's first blood for Husha, nice and easy.
And this is what we're talking about moving around the map. It's a lot easier for them, though. There is still the secondary follow-up roam here by Unicorns of Love. Can they punish?
No ulti there for AHaHaCiK. Is Nomanz ready with the shockwave, but no angle. Nice ward, of course, pretty standard, but does see the potential approach, and it was far too late to save boss at that point. So using their own pressure, right? Maoan getting active. Oh, bottom side. This could be a catch-in already. Santa's low. Wrong.
Yeah,
wrong
Ignite
Wukong.
on the clone.
The classic. I was like, there's one. How'd the AD carry get back so quickly? And of course, it's a Wukong clone. So the clone eats it, but thankfully that does not proc Draven's execute. That would be a massive counter pick
if clones gave champion shutdown type things,
Draven
that would be
LeBlanc, baby.
Bit of a disaster for those champions.
That would be no good.
But well done by Beyond getting out of the laning phase a little bit with the Ryze. You know, we're talking about everything's going bot lane, everything's going bot lane. You know, you can trick the enemy into that thought process too, and you kind of hit him with the change up, and you go up to the top side. And for Jayce, who wants to be perma pushing, a Ryze Realm Warp as well as the Xin Zhao collapsing, it's really easy to get a kill. And Liang's done pretty well in the lane phase too as well, actually getting his CS above bosses and landing enough poke to frustrate the Jayce during the lane.
You're also like not in a rush to go bot lane because Doggo is just smashing right now. Santa's though in trouble. There's the execute! Oh. Doggo is gonna cash it in!
Too easy for Beyond Gaming. Kino with the knock-up gets enough damage for Doggo to just blow him up and get those adoration stacks. You know, I gotta say, it's a bit of a... feels bad, right? You lose that ability now. Got to build those stacks up for the execute again. Maybe you should have held it for a more important team fight. I don't know.
You imagine you just hide it, like save him with the Baron fight.
Yeah, no, I don't want this kill yet.
You have like 2,000 stacks.
Insta-kill someone.
It would take a long time. I don't even know how long that would take.
I mean,
too long.
There's been games where it's like 800 Draven stacks.
Yeah, you can get up there. But Doggo, you know, he'll take the money. He has 2,300 gold to spend. He has a Mortal Shield bow built already. As Liang is in trouble. AHaHaCiK up here into the top side of the map. Does have his flash though. Mr. Kench likely okay. There's a little dive. AHaHaCiK gonna kick him back. Oh, it's so easy. There's the flash I'm looking for, but oh goodness! Tahm Kench is gonna make it happen! And now boss, is he losing the 1v1? He is! He gets the Maoan! Liang finds the 1v2 double!
The Tahm Kench popping off. Liang on the weak side champion saying, no, we're playing around me. Who cares about this Draven? I'm turning 1v2 kills around. The gray health usage was great there. I mean, he actually played that so well to get those 2 kills. And right now, with those, Beyond Gaming is smashing this game. 4 kills, 3,000 gold lead. They got the early dragon. They got the Draven stacks off already. Like, this is looking real rough now for Unicorns Love.
Argonavt took 1 axe and lost like 15% of his health.
Ouch.
I'm getting a little scared for the Unicorns of Love bottom lane here. Doggo is on a mission. He's spinning 2 axes, looking menacing. That's all. Let's watch this one again. Here's the axe replay.
So that Shock Blast Eve that he blocked with his great health there is actually huge, and I think it baited Unicorns Love to think that they can get this kill, so they go on him again. But it comes back up, and he pops the great health a second time to get even more damage reduction. Then the Senna shield does not do enough for boss. You know, it's like, at that point, it's too low, too late. He's taking too much damage. The Tongue Lash heals, keeping him topped up, and then having his Devourer the entire time. Liang, that is some Tahm Kench mechanic. I know people meme Tahm Kench. There's some Tahm Kench mechanics there.
Oh, he's back at it again! Doesn't have ulti, though. No, all right, not going to be a kill. We'll have to relax. He's 2 levels ahead of Bus, by the way. I love this Tahm Kench trade. The one thing I always love with Tahm Kench is like using Devour to keep minions, because it was so much more fun. And now you can do it with champions. This Moan's in trouble. AHaHaCiK trying to punish. There's a good shutdown onto Nomanz. Draven's axe coming on in, but not enough to even get the poke.
I mean, at least, you know, Unicorns Love are on the board now. Mid lane was something that they had burned the flash on earlier. Looked like they picked the Ryze in rotation of the Dragon. Get the flash off him again. So maybe at this point, bot lane's hard to make plays around. Top lane not going their way. Mid might be the new focus for them.
Yeah, Nomanz actually stripping almost all the plates off of this tower. Has more than a minute to try and get that all done. Oh, Liang is going at it again. Does have the ulti, but forces a teleport. That must be Santa's. Oh no, Santa's in the bottom side. He's in trouble. Kino's trying to make it happen. Doggo letting it rip once again with the axes. Husha down here, so UOL cannot stay here. This tower's dead.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty doomed. And AHaHaCiK's coming down. They still have their ults, so maybe they're going to try and catch Beyond Gaming getting a little too aggressive, trying to finish this turret off.
All right, Buster's TP. UOL can reinforce here if they want to, so they are going to pick the play. Can they get the tower? Husha gets it, cancels the TP, and now Doggo can let it rip, but Santa's already spinning around. Kino in trouble. He's going to dance back away, but AHaHaCiK finds it on the other side of the map as Doggo is just trying to get a kill somewhere in this. But now Husha is going to go back in onto AHaHaCiK, but Doggo doesn't have enough targets. AHaHaCiK weaving so well into this fight. Doggo out of mana now, has to run it away. Does have the heal ready to go. Juking out there as they do find the Q. AHaHaCiK's making it look so good for UOL, keeping them in this early game as Doggo does escape.
All right, despite that looking initially like a bit of a disaster with the teleport getting canceled on the turret kill, Unicorns of Love still turning around, grab 3 kills, down a lot of gold still, but making the necessary plays to stabilize, outplaying that 3v3.
Yep.
Though it does open up a play potentially on the top side on Boss, who has been struggling against this top Kench recently.
Yeah, running out of teleports there. For that play, as Nomanz is...
Oh, it's a rich
spooky.
dog. Doggo is a rich boy.
Yeah, I looked at Nomanz, like, that's pretty good. And I looked at Draven and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Definitely struggling. I mean, the Tahm, Kench, and the Jayce pick, we'll talk about that in a second as we get the replay here. So, not the cleanest start to this fight, you know? It kind of shows how strong this combination can be. The fact that, for the most part, they did not get a super clean engage, but were able to finish off Kino there, getting a lot of damage down. Santa's still getting a decent ult off with the clone. And then the re-engage here is the big thing, and just extended fighting with Senna usually works super well with the heals and the slows from the Glacial Augment, and just being able to keep people topped up. And the chase down potential as well, you know, giving that Shrouds and then the flash follow there. Super, super clean. And, you know, Doggo stays alive, doesn't lose any stacks, fortunately. I guess that's the one positive part of that play you're looking at for Beyond Gaming, as well as finishing off the turret.
Yeah, they did actually get 5 plates and the first tower gold, so there's a ton of gold given over to the bottom side of the map, but definitely a good punish there for AHaHaCiK. He's having another great game on Lee Sin, right? Almost one of those things where it's like, where was this earlier? I believe you maybe play the champion, maybe just, you know, gotta ready yourself back into a very difficult group here at Worlds. Hard to fully blame them, but I mean, if you're gonna come online, might as well be in your last few moments, right? Because this is a game Unicorns love are still keeping themselves in despite the gold deficit. And AHaHaCiK definitely making sure the team can stay ready. But Beyond Gaming have done a pretty good job of making things happen across the map. Maoan maybe wants to get a bit more active, had that great roam early on, but hasn't really been unlocked out of that lane for a while. But they know what the plan is. It is keep Doggo CS lead at 50 or more.
So there was some skirmishing on the top side, so you didn't see it, but Liang is playing between the two turrets. He is zoning Boss off the minion wave on the bot lane inner turret. He's been doing this over and over, just tunnels on him. And, okay, well, we'll see if I can get to it again. Second time in a row, we got some action popping off as we try to talk about this matchup.
Yeah, the Rift Herald. It's dead. Nomanz. Ooh, Shockwave. Doggo. Face checking everything. Kino's going to try and look for the play. Good kick there from AHaHaCiK, but that does secure the Herald there for Beyond Gaming.
Yeah, Doggo playing really aggressively because he knows the actual bot lane of Argonavt and Santos are too far away in lane to stop him. So if that ever came through, that Shockwave, you know, I think he just trusted the fact that he has flash up and he can kill the Orianna if she really went after him. That's
a nice ever for us. No ulti, remember, for either that Q, though, is going to be enough. Maoan should die here indeed. Does to AHaHaCiK. Now the TP coming in. Liang is back in, trying to read the movement, but doesn't find them there with the Abyssal Dive. And the Blast Cone's going to signal where they are. Ooh, that's so sneaky from Nomanz. Just casually in the brushes, topside, looking a little rough. Where's Doggo trying to find another execute? Gets the tower instead. Oh, he goes back, flashes through, gets one now. Looking for the second as the TP is coming in for UOL. Santos, though, is not gonna die. It's Nomanz with the save. He's gonna grab the double for himself.
All right, getting a little messy here. I like it. Unicorns of Love fighting back. The initial kill on Maoan was great. You talked about that tricky play, you know, AHaHaCiK's like, hey, look at me, I'm a Lee Sin, I threw a Q over here, I just took your blast cone, don't chase me. In the meantime, Maoan's just recalling in the brush right there. And that recall, or excuse me, Nomanz is recalling in the brush right there, and that allows him to actually collapse in that topside play. If they killed him or stopped that situation, it would have been just a complete win for Beyond. And so, really clever usage of vision to get Nomanz in a position to punish that top dive.
And this is, again, despite the gold deficit. I mean, Liang's having a field day. We'll have to come to this lane in a moment. But looks like Argonavt is going to be Boss's support for a little bit in a moment. On the UOL side, this is a position Nomanz should be very comfortable in. 3-0-1, 2 items already done here for the Orianna. AHaHaCiK's kind of on fire with the Gold Drinker done with 3 kills of his own. I think Beyond Gaming are going to get this dragon, even though AHaHaCiK's trying to make it be a bit of a nuisance. Looks like they will be able to secure it, which does mean the soul's pretty close. But I mean, if there's ever a time for Unicorns of Love to rally around a player, it's Nomanz Orianna that's starting to snowball.
Right. This is one of the things to keep an eye on is Draven, while very strong, very far ahead, is a little bit susceptible to positioning. So if you get a good combo, you can blow him up. I mean, Doggo is nuts, though. I actually really like what he does here to try and get the execute off. So he throws it at this angle to cover the lane here initially, going left to right. after this initial trade, you'll see him kind of go as far right as he can to get it here, and then he can kind of position it on the way back. And he flashes forward to get a flash Q off to try and drop him low enough so that the execute can get through. I think his Q was a little slow to get out, but the idea of dropping them even lower with a flash damage burst was the right idea. The only problem is, like we said, Nomanz being able to get that recall off allowed him to heal up and TP back into this play and turn it around. But again, it's a situation where you're grabbing a turret with the Draven, getting adoration stacks off, and then dying, so it's still a huge win for Beyond Gaming.
Yeah, Doggo is still the point man for Beyond Gaming here. I mean, Liang, again, has been great. Like, it's a shame that this time Kench has been, like, absolutely smashing in the side lane, because there's so much other action we haven't been able to get to it, but Doggo is still the player that they are playing around here. Does have Collector now alongside the Shield Bow, has an extra cloak, is presumably going Infinity Edge as the third item, and will likely be there quickly, especially if he finds another kill.
Yeah, and I mean, he's strong enough that anyone's caught out of position. If Kino can get a good engage, he can basically blow that person up. So the one place I was going with that with Nomanz getting these kills that you're talking about is that he can kill Doggo pretty quickly if they combo it well with either an AHaHaCiK kick or Santa's getting a good ultimate here. You can just blow that Draven up, and then from there, the damage isn't that scary. The Ryze isn't that fed. Husha's not that far ahead. Liang's super annoying, and maybe he can carry the game. It's nice that you have this second threat showing up in your Tahm Kench. But if you do find the Draven, it is currently a bit of a one-threat team, and Nomanz is fed enough that he can blow him up. He's at 2 items himself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as you mentioned, in champs like that, actually, Liang does have the old school Tahm Kench option of like devour my 80 carry and try and save them from a big cooldown. So depending on how the 5v5s look, if that's even BYG's plan, I think they can 4-1 and 1-3-1 here.
Yeah.
Like, Ryze wants to be in a side lane. Liang is clearly having a field day. Like, you're not breaking up this structure to go run into Orianna, who's fed as a 5v5.
Yeah, I think you keep splitting Liang. I mean, obviously the Ryze is the one that you probably thought you would be splitting, but given that he's fallen behind a little bit with the kills, and Tahm Kench is doing a great job pressuring, just leave it to him. And, you know, maybe I misread the matchup in my head. You know, Tahm Kench, I would assume, would struggle more into Jayce, but it was a counter pick. You know, they did know it was a Jayce, and they did pick the Tahm Kench into it. So maybe this isn't as bad of a matchup as I initially thought. And as we saw, Liang clearly has Tahm Kench mechanics. He is mostly a carry player, but of non-carries, it was only 2 games, but Tahm Kench was the other champion that he was playing. You see his mastery on it right here.
He's at it again. Abyssal diving down to the bottom side, setting up for Doggo, and Doggo is going to get it stolen by Liang. But honestly, that's not so bad, because the second one is coming in hot. Santa's low but not dead as BYG taking over the bottom side.
Yeah, that was a nice play. Started off by Liang there, and he's like, you know what? I'm the real carry. I don't care about you, Draven. I'm taking this kill. Super well done by him. And, I mean, Beyond looks a lot better than they looked on their initial days. We talked about these teams ramping up and stuff. Yes, they still started today with a loss, but I think Liang has been a really good substitution in. It was surprising to see PK grab that first game, and I think that left you know, a bad impression potentially of this team's power level. But when Doggo's rolling and he gets a little bit of help, you can just see how scary Beyond is.
Yeah, feeling good so far. I mean, even Maoan on his signature Ryze, not necessarily having the highest impact right now, but that will change. He's going to continue to get farm. He has 2 items now, fully stacked that tier, so likely going to be moving towards the Archangels as item number 3. And the Infinity Edge timer is still ticking here for Doggo. Might have had it if he cashed in, so potentially still waiting on that particular.
Wonder if he's flaming Liang for stealing that kill right now. You know I could be an eye edge right now for this dragon fight if you didn't take that kill.
And he's like, yeah, but hold my anathemas chains.
Yeah.
Because Doggo actually, well, that Q missing is very good news for Doggo fans. And AHaHaCiK was ready with the kick to the face, but Doggo does live to tell the tale.
That's kind of what we're talking about with the burst of the Orianna. Sucks to lose it in a potential teamfight situation. They're going to want to stall out until it comes back up, but TP behind.
Husha at it again. Ooh, very nice. Kino sets it up, and Doggo knocks it down. There's the shutdown on the pullback out of the Whirling Death. And that's the second as Maoan actually locks up Boss long enough to get the kill. Now 5v3 for Beyond Gaming. Losing that ulti, like you said, Mark. Maybe the thing that let Beyond Gaming know that they could go in for the team fight. And Husha is continuing to dive in onto members of Unicorns of Love, but he has to give up the ghost onto the enemy jungler. Santis, however, is not feeling quite so hot, but I think Baron is the better plan here.
Absolutely. After picking a great fight, Beyond Gaming going to transfer onto the Dragon. Just ignore Santas and the other low members. I mean, the only problem is not finishing off an AHaHaCiK does put him in range, potentially get a Smite Steal here.
Yeah, Maoan actually going to rotate around to deal with this. Kino also still in a good position Oh my god, Doggo! Look at a two-shot Argonavt at this point. That Senna is very squishy. And Maoan is just trying to find the jungler. They do get it there. Senna ulti out. And AHaHaCiK going in to try and find the steal. Does go down. But Nomanz is back for revenge. And the Baron's still on the table. Somebody hit the damn one man. There we go. It actually passed. He stole the Baron. Unicorns of Love stay in the game.
Beyond Gaming take too long to finish off the Baron. They're so worried about the Lee Sin smite steal that they lose track of the respawn timers. Boss and Nomanz come back up. And remember, we're talking about how fed this Orianna is. He was able to come back with the ultimate, turn that fight around, and then allow them to steal the Baron. This is also going to let them transfer down to the Cloud Drake now and deny the sole point that Beyond Gaming were kind of relying on. And with this Baron buff, there's a lot of standing gold available on the map. They only have mid lane and outer turret down. UOL can really close this gap right here.
We'll see how many towers they can knock down in the Red Bull Baron power play, but that Baron may very well have signaled the end of this game. Beyond Gaming still needed a few more steps, but this Baron would have gone a long way into securing this game for them. Instead, this is what happens.
Yeah, so much focus on Santas, on AHaHaCiK. They're trying to stop that, and you just totally lose track of the fact that Boss, Argonavt, and Nomanz are three-manning your three-man who are also in the Baron pit. And as strong as Doggo is, he is susceptible, and they're able to find that kill. And then from here on, you know, it's just a bit of a who can get the damage out. But with Liang and Maoan over the wall, it was not really a fair fight. It was definitely the deck stacked in Unicorns of Love favor for actually winning that kind of percentage chance battle over the Baron, and they get it. And I mean, these are the kinds of mistakes that can really cost you in do or die moments.
And Unicorns of Love, I mean, again, still down, but definitely not out. Nomanz is chugging his way towards a death cap here as item number 3, which is, that's a big carry item if you're ever looking to take over a game as Orianna. Not interested in anything other than deleting Doggo as quickly as possible, I suppose.
Yeah, and the only problem is a couple people died, so they don't have Barons on all the members that they wanted on, and their lane assignments are a little weird here. They have Santa splitting up top as this Wukong, who didn't get very far ahead in the lane phase, and I don't think has the Baron buff because he died. 1-3-1ing here. I feel like, you know, Unicorns of Love needs to do a little bit better getting on the same page to start using this Baron buff, because this is not a pressure threat that they're really responding to. They are going to transfer down from the mid lane pressure down to the bot side, so they are getting some stuff, but I would love to have seen Orianna up there. You know, Orianna, just no one can deal with her right now. I'm pretty sure she wins every 1v1. She can be taking turrets herself, but at the same time, I understand you don't want a 4-man without her as well, so a tough position in the game state for Unicorns of Love to get the most out of this Baron buff, but doing a good job, still grabbing that turret. Still a 3,000 gold Baron buff power play, so really well done.
Yeah, they'll do. I mean, they do what they can, right? You get your gold, maybe get your death cap now. Moan's going towards the top side of Santa's, yeah, without a Baron buff, like you said. I mean, the outer towers aren't particularly tanky, but ye old semi-support Wukong not going to get it
one
done.
item Wukong,
yeah.
26 minutes in, not a monster turret threat.
No. Santa's at least going to escape to safety. As Beyond Gaming are going to have to recenter themselves here. Look for maybe the Soul in 2 minutes 20. Look for that next Baron 30 seconds after that. It is 3 items for Doggo. It's 3 items for the Tahm Kench as well. Ryze is moving in towards item number 3. Everything's kind of coming together.
Yeah, I think Beyond, you know, despite how much of a disaster that looked like, didn't lose too much on it. It really slowed them down and allowed Unicorns Love to get back into what should have been a closed game. But, you know, 2 minutes until Ocean or Cloud Soul comes up, that will force another 5v5. If you're not in this totally scattered fight like that Baron situation was, you know, they should still be stronger. You also have the Baron coming up in 2 minutes as well, so a number of objectives that are going to force 5v5s, and as long as you can kind of deal with Nomanz, I think Beyond is still favored currently in fights.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like they were 2 steps away from winning the game. Now they're 3, and unfortunately Baron was one of the steps. But Kino finding a very long-range engage, trying to set up Doggo, and Liang is the one on the rampage. Charges in there with the Abyssal Dive, picks off the center. 5v4 now for Beyond Gaming. Oh goodness, Santa's re-engaging now. Only gets the frontliners though, and now the Everfrost is going to turn it back around. Husha's letting it rip, but they can't quite get the kill they look for, and Kino, way too far, gets deleted by Nomanz.
Yeah, he thought he saw the opportunity on Orianna, but I believe her phase rush procced and allowed her to kite that out very easily, and Kino comes up short. He saw the opportunity, couldn't get it, and ends up a 1-for-1, but still decent for Beyond Gaming. Trading Kino out for Argonavt gives them a lot of pressure with this spawning. Both people will res in time to contest the Cloud Soul though.
Yeah, Beyond Gaming just going to back off here. Maybe feeling like the siege is going to be a little too tricky. They have to go recall the Tahm Kench as well. Liang does not have teleport. This is going to be a full time going back, but Doggo taking matters into his own hands, takes down Nomanz. The critical member of UOL is now down, and Doggo is looking to add more kills to the tally. Going back in again, the wraparound is there. Husha gives up his life to Boss to try and make it happen. This is a 5v2, and that is just too far for Beyond Gaming.
Oh god, Beyond find the pick off on Nomanz. Doggo. Oh, hold on.
AHaHaCiK finds the flash kick. Doggo, oh, the devour! So clutch there for Liang, and now AHaHaCiK is dead. A 3v3 now as Argonavt's also respawned, but an ulti does get him on the other side. It's a shutdown out for Doggo, who he just apparently can do no wrong, but it's all Liang, baby. He's the real carry of BYG. Onto Argonavt he goes through the cloud rift. Kino's back alive to try and make it happen again, but I think we finally have an end to quite the exchange.
Yeah, we'll see. Nomanz is up in 3, 2, 1, and has teleport available. I don't think there's enough of a ward yet. He's just going topside, and they're going to lose this Cloud Soul. Not the end of the world, not this going to radically change the game, but still a nice power point for Beyond Gaming to finally get that soul in their possession.
Doggo, though, maybe starting to feel like a little pressure. Maybe just being like, you know what, there's a player, I'm going to make it.
Doggo's nuts, though. Look at this. Look at this flash over the wall onto Nomanz. Doesn't care. Locks him up with his own CC. You know, just puts Nomanz in retreat mode. He knows the ult's probably not still up from that mid lane fight that just happened, and so the 100-0 threat is not there without the ultimate. Doggo knows the limits so well of his champion. The only problem is the rest of his team gets a little too hypey, and he's still Draven, still has to walk around the wall. Can't just, you know, go all in because there are still other threats, as you see. You know, Boss's damage and the Wukong and the Senna are not totally negligible, but God, that is the Tahm Kench ult we were talking about. You can't lose track of that. And so the fact that Liang was in the area to save Doggo from that insect was absolutely massive. I mean, I think AHaHaCiK was trying to win the game right there. If you can get another dragon in your pocket, slow this game down. I appreciate him looking for the opportunity, but Liang was in the area to save Doggo and then turn the fight around.
And the game continues. The soul is up for BYG, but honestly, the gold lead is basically the same. Like, they're still up 3 to 4K. Doggo is still an absolute terror. Liang is still very tanky and extremely disruptive to the backline in a lot of these team fights, but Nomanz still ready with the big ultis. There's plenty of gold on Unicorns of Love. I mean, Argonavt's a little far behind, but that's somewhat expected. Like, the bot lane's obviously getting outclassed by Beyond Gaming, but these fights are winnable, right? I think you're in touching distance now. It's just about execution and stopping this Draven, because if you can't stop Doggo, he's just going to kill everyone.
Well, if you can't stop the Baron either, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Boy. I said 2 steps away. That is one of them. Even though I think they took one back, Unicorns of Love able to get that Baron for themselves. Beyond Gaming, this is what they wanted the first time. I mean, that was the objective.
Just well done. You know, you can see how scary Nomanz is. He chunked out Husha to half health with a QW combo, but you just have someone start the Baron, get the mid priority, and TP over using the Ryze, and just Draven is so fed right now. Their Baron damage is actually pretty respectable, and so they're able to just burn that one down before Unicorns of Love is even close to contesting.
Also love maximizing the value of the buff here as well. Straight to mid lane, get that tower down. Liang's already getting the wave pushing a top side. Yes, you don't have a bottom wave, bit of pressure, but you were grouped just fine anyway for the Baron, so it's kind of hard to set up a 1-3-1 split. You'll take the 4-1 as you look to crack an inhib here, though.
I mean, it's a great usage of the Baron. I mean, a lot of times the reason you have to reset after a Baron is you get low doing it, or it's at the tail end of a fight. But when you sneak it like that, as, oh my god, Doggo's terrifying. When you sneak it like that, yeah, you can just instantly keep transferring that pressure right away, and it gives you more uptime on the buff, where normally you would lose 45 seconds, a minute on a reset, getting the waves back in position.
Love this from Maoan as well. Now setting up the full 3-lane push here with the Baron, right? Ryze is a great candidate for this kind of play. Has TP up, has Realm Warp, has Phase Rush, I suppose, if he does get overloaded and needs to run away. So Beyond Gaming, gonna try and sync these waves up, doing a decent job actually. Maoan, the big threat right now for that bottom in hit tower, but UOL are completely stretched over their own base right now.
Yeah, Liang roaming down a little bit to try and help out around mid lane, make sure there's not a ton of threat. But with Baron buff up, I did like the 1-3-1 setup. I like Liang being in the top lane and just being in, you know, Abyssal Voyage range, or the tunnel, excuse me, the W, to get in there if they try to make a play happen.
Kino, again, just trying to zone off at this point. Doggo has room to take down the tower, will grab it. Now Beyond Gaming looking to finish off at least one inhibitor here. They could get 2. Liang again Looks like Beyond have decided they want to stick a little closer together in this push, but Liang takes a big lick out of the tower there in mid, and Doggo's going to finish it up.
I don't think his health bar's moving.
I don't think so either. Husha, though.
Husha's is moving.
Yep, definitely eating damage from Nomanz. Xin Zhao not that tanky. But Doggo, once again, letting it rip, just starting to use the ulti as poke now. Doggo dodging every skill shot also, apparently. Does get 2 inhibs now. Beyond Gaming, that is a beautiful look at that Baron.
Yeah, that was a really well-used Baron. The gold lead obviously ballooning off the back of it. You're talking about it stalling at 3,000 to 4,000 for quite a while. Well, now have a 7,000 gold lead after that Baron buff, as well as double inhibitors down. You have the Soul, or excuse me, the Elder Dragon coming up in a minute and a half. And you're going to have permanent priority during it too. So Unicorns of Love, they're going to have to find a way to fight for this Elder buff. Right now it's tough having to deal with the minion waves as well, but they got to get some wards down. They have some TP flanks. You're going to want to find a way to 100-0 Doggo, and that's 100% what your communication should be about right now. How can we get into a position to find flanks onto Doggo and deal with him? And also keeping track of the fact that Liang can save him out of your initial attempt.
All right, well now we have Rapid Fire Cannon. Doggo is done. Pretty much.
Yeah.
With building items.
As a big boy.
And if they get the Elder, especially, there is reason to believe that Senna could get one-shot by a single axe. I mean, he might do it without the Elder Dragon buff. But I think with it, it's like almost a guarantee.
She's looking like 1,400 health. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of execute power, too. I don't know what his stacks are. I assume they're pretty low currently. Not a lot of time to just be slapping minions.
Kills. Unlucky.
Yeah, keeps... damn it. But yeah, with the Elder buff execute as well, I feel like you're 100% right. If you hit both procs of your ultimate, that's a dead Senna.
I just want to see what happens. This is so exciting. Oh, look at Doggo. That poor minion, 11, 50 damage crit. But thankfully it was not a member of UOL. Maoan, though, trying to really run it here in the top side, but in a good way. Actually splitting very nicely with the Realm Warp. Solo split, not something you always see. Now you will have to try and make the play. Kino diving in, but Doggo is still not in trouble. Kino is the one to dive there to Argonavt. Doggo trying to do what he can, though, dancing around as AHaHaCiK is being such a nuisance. Husha also completely zoned off of this play, but the key member is still alive. Boa's going to take down Argonavt. Now has to deal with boss, but isn't going to get it as Santis is going to get executed, but AHaHaCiK trying to find his way back into the fight. He just can't do it. A 1x is not enough to do it, but 2, they don't have it just yet. GA also ready and available for AHaHaCiK as a TP back to your own base for boss. But now Liang has found Nomanz. That is a very, very nice cancel from that potential recall as Husha and Doggo are trying to end the game. It looks like right now they can't do it, but Liang is going to TP in to overload the 3v2. The Nexus is open and available. Doggo and Liang, they are going to combine to do it. Beyond Gaming are going to keep themselves here at Worlds.
A great day for Beyond Gaming, able to stay alive in Worlds, getting through the group stage of play-ins, securing their spot in the best of 5, where they'll have their chance at revenge against Galatasaray, waiting for them. And then if they win that, you got to go up against Tahm on life.
Definitely sad to see Unicorns of Love exit the tournament. I think a great showing up against Cloud9 and a very competitive game here as well, despite the struggles of the early game deficit that Beyond Gaming managed to put them in. But Beyond Gaming take about not the last one of the tournament. As we said, they will play tomorrow. Galatasaray will be their opponent, as you mentioned. And once again, Group B, as the more games we play, the less I understand. And I love that.